Hello, YouTube. This is Insane Monster, and we are here for the next part of What If Deku Was a Nergal Demon? Now then, if you haven't watched the previous parts, I do recommend you go and watch them before watching this video. And I hope you're having a happy Easter. I'm recording this during a time when a power outage short circuited my Wi-Fi box, so if this ends up being uploaded kind of late from Easter, I do apologize. It kind of depends on when when the internet can get back and running. So, with that being said, thank you for listening. Hope you understand, and happy Easter. Hit it. Now then, we start this part of the what if in the morning both of the UA entrance exam. Now, with some light morning sparring to help them warm up for the exam, Izuku and Mina are pretty excited as well as fully prepared for the exam. So before leaving, Inko pulls Mina to the side and needed to talk to her. He looked at her and said, "Mina, I know you have been consciously holding back the powers you gained from our family. But since you're going to hero school, and I heard you already told your parents, you should really consider not holding back anymore. Alright? It won't do you any good if you restrain yourself from what you can truly do. Understand?" Mina looks at Inko and says, "I understand," as he smirks and runs off, following Izuku to the exam. Once they get there, they get awestruck by UA being so excited to finally be here, with Bakugo passing by, not really saying anything. So they kind of expect that. He's so deadly focused that it's a quiet anger. Very different than his very loud and explosive anger that's usual for him. As they go in, they end up taking the written exam. Izuku does well, like in canon. As for Mina, she does do better since she had Izuku help her study. Next came the auditorium portion where they went in and were told about the practical exam for the hero course, taking down robots that range from 0-pointers, 1-pointers, 2-pointers, and 3-pointers, and that they be separated into different battlegrounds. As Mina and Izuku look at their cards as well as Bakugo, none of them were in the same battle area. Bakugo remarked that it's probably to prevent them from working with people that they know, which is understandable. As they go to get dressed to be ready, Izuku wishes Mina good luck, and Mina smirks, saying, "Keep that look for yourself, I got this," as he runs off. Once they get to the battle area, Izuku begins to stretch and gets ready, as he thinks about what type of weapons he should use for this practical exam. This is when President Mike sound off the siren for them to go. Izuku formed his wings, was going full force into it. As he saw a 3-pointer right off the bat, he formed a draconic dragon head just straight off of his arm that clamps down and destroys the three-pointer. Shocking everybody just seeing this gnarly red, black, and green dragon head with multiple eyes and spikes on it. As the mouth reopens and out from it as that head sinks into Izuku's arm, reveals some sort of cannon-like weapon. As Izuku sees more robots and blasts them to pieces. Next was a one-pointer that came zooming in from behind Izuku. As one of the examinees said, "Watch out," Izuku ended up with blades shooting from his back, stabbing the one-pointer, destroying it. As Izuku smirked, saying, "Thanks, but I got this," as he conjured his green flames and melted a row of one- and two-pointer robots, continuing the fight similar, using weapons, mostly blade weapons, to strike at the enemy. As for Bakugo, he does pretty much the same and goes full throttle with his explosions, destroying robot after robot. And Mina? She went with two basic weapons. A gauntlet for her acid to be stored in, not only to give her acid claws, but to store up acid in vials she made with the nergal demon power she gained from Izuku's gift to her, using it as a way of compressing air and the acid together to make a highly compressed acid squirt blast that really tears up the robots fairly simply. Oh, that was with her free hand. In her other hand was whip, a type of blade whip that exuded the same demonically enhanced acid that she's been trained to use, using it to tear at the robots one after the other. Back in the observatory, where all of the faculty, including All Might, were watching the exams, Aizawa saw some potential in this year's applicants. But there was also somebody else in that room to watch them. It was Inko, as he wanted to see, and All Might talked to Principal Nezu about this. He was already in for the secret for One for All, and after talking to Inko, she allowed Nezu to know it, since he understands the harm that greedy humans can do to others due to Inko's and Izuku's family history. So this was not a school day, so she ended up bringing Amari along with her, but was taking a nap on the couch. As Nezu looked at the screen and walked over to Inko and All Might, stating, "Those two seem to be doing quite well. They're tearing through the robots one after another, as well as this Bakugo Katsuki. All in all, combat-wise, they seem quite proficient." Inko smirked, stating, "Obviously, they trained pretty hard." As All Might was just looking at the screen. Back where Izuku was, he already gained a good number of points. As he looked around, he felt the ground begin to shake and people just starting to run. When he looked back, he saw the 0-pointer as it broke the top of as it broke the part of a building with its hand. He was thinking about what he should do about it until he heard a girl yelp. He turned back, seeing a girl trapped on the rubble. Instinctively, he bolted towards her. As the zero pointer went to grab her with its hand, Izuku created an even larger hand with massive claws and spikes covering it. As he charged one for all throughout his body, he grabbed onto the robot's hand and crushed it. And with his other hand, he formed a reinforced energy cannon, charging up his demonic pyrokinesis with it as well. He blasts the zero pointer, completely and utterly melting, or more accurately, incinerating the top portion of the zero pointer. This also caused some minor damage to the surrounding buildings, but luckily he was pointing it somewhat upwards, so the damage was kept to a minimum. As the people in the viewing part of where the exam observers were watching were shocked about that much destructive power being released at once. Afterwards, of course, like in canon, we have a recovery girl coming in to heal everybody, including the girl that ends up getting injured from the rubble, only having a sprained ankle, and put on a stretcher to be brought to the nurse's office for a bit more of a thorough examination. As she stops the robots for a minute and asks for Izuku's name, he looks back and smiles, stating, "Izuku Midoriya." As he states, "I'm Ochako Uraraka, and thank you for saving me." He smiles, saying, "No problem." After that was taken care of, he met up with Mina and they went home. From looking up on the window from a higher level of UA, Nezu and All Might were looking at Izuku and Mina. As Nezu stated, they seemed to be powerful. And to be honest, I think they might have been holding back in that exam. All Might looked at Nezu, stating, well, with those tendril things, they could literally create whatever weapon they think of. And imagine they limited their imagination with this, given the time constraints. As Nezu just laughed, stating, "Perhaps you're right. If given time, they might come up with something pretty out there, now wouldn't they?" As time went on, everyone got their UA acceptance letter. When Izuku ripped his open, he found that he got into UA as well as got the high score, revealing that there wasn't just combat points but rescue points, and due to saving Ochako, he gained a large amount of rescue points. As for the other of the top three, number 2 was Bakugo, and number 3 was Mina, mostly due to the fact that she didn't use her ability to use her tendrils to make wings to fly for the exam. Due to the fact that she was still somewhat nervous about using the Nergal demon powers in plain view like that. She's normally only trained in the front of Izuku, Inko, and Amari. So using the powers in front of other people was kind of nerve-wracking for her. But once everything was settled and they had all of their school gear and uniforms, they went off to UA. On finding Class 1A, Izuku and Mina remark about how large the door is, and upon entering, instantly sees Bakugo and Ida fighting, with them both thinking, of course, he ended up in a fight on the first day, as people would look at Izuku and Mina, who both got pretty high scores, as well as using some impressive powers. As Ida walks up to Izuku, remarking about how much better of a student he is, recognizing that they had hero points on the side besides combat points. Izuku stopped him, saying, "No, no, no, no. I just did that on instinct. I swear, I didn't know." Causing Ida to be shocked and say, "Well, you seem to be quite heroic naturally, then, I suppose." As they hear the voice of a girl stating, "Hey, I know that messy hair. You're the boy who saved me from the zero pointer," revealing Ochako, as he states, "So we're in the same class, huh?" As he says, "Yeah." As he looks at Mina, who's just, examining Ochako, Izuku introduces them. Izuku introduces Mina, his girlfriend, and Ochako Uraraka, the girl that he saved from the zero pointer when she got stuck under some rubble during the exam. As a certain purple little runt got annoyed by what he just said. "So lucky that little..." Of course, this is Mineta being jealous. So this is when Aizawa pops out, telling them that they're being too loud, as they just see a very, very sleepy man who seems to just lie on the ground in the middle of a school hallway in a sleeping bag. As he gets out, introducing himself as Aizawa, their teacher, which they don't really have time to process before he tells them to hurry up and put on their gym uniforms and head to the sports field. Of course, Mina asks about the entrance ceremony, but he says that UA isn't a typical school, which means he gets to run his class his way. With that, we end up with them getting changed. As Mina is asked about her quirk, since some of the girls there saw her use her power, and how, from what they heard, it's similar to Midoriya's. She remarks that, well, it is similar, but also different. We can make weapons from our imaginations, or it's like we turn whatever weapon we imagine and create it from stuff that comes out of our body. But other than that, I have acid and he has fire. Honestly, the making weapons out of parts of our bodies is the only thing connected. Obviously, hiding the fact that the whole demon thing isn't public knowledge, so gotta keep that kind of quiet. As they kind of understand, since some people end up having the same quirk, or at least highly similar quirks, without actually being related, similar to the water hose heroes. With that, Mina could relax. As they head to the field, Aizawa threw Izuku a ball, telling him to throw it with his quirk, with all he has. As he thinks for a moment, he suits up, enveloping himself in some strengthening nergal demon coverings as a way to boost his physical abilities to his max in his normal state, and then piling one for all onto that to help lessen the strain on his basic body. As he reels back, he sends it flying. Thousands, let's say about maybe 5,000 meters, give or take, as they just look awe in this. as they get excited that they get to use their quirks. So Aizawa kind of rains on their parade, stating that the one who ends up getting last in this exam will be sent home, as in expelled. Being shocked by this, they had no choice but to give it their all. Mina did far better in the physical portion than normal, given her enhancement from the nergal demon powers. Izuku did well also. I'd say overall, Mina was able to better use her enhancements using the nergal demon powers in imaginative ways to get second place, with Izuku in third. With Izuku in first and Bakugo in third, which annoyed Bakugo, being outmatched by them in this. With that, the lineup was posted with Mineta at the bottom, with Aizawa looking at him stating, "You have very little hero attributes in this class out of everyone here. Make sure you correct that before I decide to actually expel you." Surprising everyone, Aizawa smirked, stating that it was just a test so that they could give it their all. Shocking everybody, they just sigh in relief as Momo stated, "Wait, you guys didn't know that? Maybe I should have said something," causing multiple people to think, "Yeah, you should have." After walking away, everybody calmed down and started to get to know one another, as people found out pretty quickly that Izuku is the son of the heroine demoness, the demon telepath hero. Or, yeah. As they were impressed, he just stated, "It's not that big of a deal, honestly," as things went pretty smoothly the first day. As for the next day, they did do all the natural school stuff with all the typical subjects, until they got to the portion for the hero class that all of them were excited for, as All Might burst into the room with wearing his Silver Age costume. As he pops open the walls revealing their costumes, though Mina and Izuku didn't have any. As they went to the changing rooms, both the girls and the boys asked them where's their costume, as they formed it on their own bodies using their powers. Normally, their ability to make clothing and such is limited color-wise with black, green, and red. Though, if given proper control, they can also change into different colors. Mina makes a modified version of her canon costume, with some gloves added in, as well as some pads and such, in order for proper protection. As for Izuku, I'll leave a link in the description down below to an image of what Izuku's hero costume looks like. Now with that, they head over to the testing area where they show off their hero costumes. As Izuku wears a kind of Reaper cloak kind of outfit with combat cargo pants and similar metal shoes with the Nergal Demon aesthetic on all of it. He does show off a bit with a blacked out face area similar to what the background character in the thumbnail has, but with the metal mask thing covering his mouth and nose. With this, All Might states they say the sorry, they say the clothes make the pros, and you children are the proof. After this, he begins to explain how exactly the test will work. It will be a battle scenario that will involve two teams of two. One will play the heroes and one will play the villains, and the groups shall be randomized, as well as who will be the villains and who will be the heroes. As Ida was concerned about this, Zuko remarked that heroes have a tendency to need to partner up with other heroes from different agencies on the fly, given the situation, which he does understand. With that, we'll keep the same lineup as in canon. For example, Mina does extremely better in this test with her partner winning, but that's later on. Just wanted to get it out of the way. With that, the team of Izuku and Uraraka and Bakugo and Ida are set, with Bakugo and Ida going to the bomb room preparing. Bakugo remarks that their best chance is to probably run out the clock. Looking at Ida asked, "And why do you think that?" Bakugo remarks, "I know that nerd for a long time, and I know what he can do. He can literally make whatever weapon or defensive capability he needs with those tendrils. Mention his flames are powerful. Our best chance is to keep him busy until the clock runs out. But if we forget about Round Face, then she'll end up getting the bomb. So I'll go down and focus on him. She'll most likely come up here for the bomb. Make sure you're ready. Understand?" As he does understand what he's getting at. Seeing that firepower he used in the exam, he could easily win. But if he unleashed that power indoors, it would most likely be considered a failure, since heroes aren't supposed to be committing mass collateral damage. As Ida tells him to be careful, he states, "Don't underestimate me. I know what I'm doing." As the test begins, Zuko told Uraraka if they get separated that she should just go straight for the bomb, as he understood, knowing that he could take care of himself. This is when Bakugo showed up and producing a large explosion, larger than in canon. As when the smoke cleared, it just reveals a green metallic-like shield made out of different pieces in front of Bakugo, blocking his attack. As Bakugo stops, stating, "Huh, nice defense." As the shield broke up into pieces, each piece being held together by a different tendril, as Izuku states, "Not a bad attack, and you actually use stealth, not normally your style. So I guess you're taking the small quarters combat to your advantage." As he gestures to Uraraka to hurry up. Bakugo didn't say anything, figuring that this might happen. As they begin to fight, Bakugo knew he had to keep away from those tendrils and make sure they didn't grab him, using his explosions to blast any that came to try to grab his arms or legs. He had to make sure to keep a close aim on his surroundings. As the fight continued, it moved more towards the outer part of the building, near the outer wall of it. This being considered a more stable spot to unleash a lot of power, Bakugo used his gauntlets and pulled the pin. All Might was worried about this, stating, "What do you think you're doing?" Bakugo states, "Don't worry, he won't die," as he pulls the pin, hoping to blast Midoriya out a wall or two. As Izuku is able to block this, he also has to stab into the ground to keep his place, though is pushed back a good bit, tearing up the floor. As they're in the same area as in canon, continuing their fight. With this, Izuku keeps the shield up as he pulls the blade he formed out of it and stabbed into the ground back into the shield, and prepares a mace weapon that has rounded bumps on it in his free hand, telling Bakugo to bring it. As Bakugo goes for the attack, Izuku blocks with the shield, but this time sets it ablaze with green flames, causing Bakugo to use his explosions to get away. Not wanting to touch that, he sticks to more long-distance explosions, trying to attack openings. He does get a few hits in, but rarely. There are a few eyes along Izuku's suit that can help him in spotting danger. Though with the constant smoke from Bakugo's explosions blocking the vision, it's making it harder for those eyes. As Bakugo goes in for another big attack, Izuku tosses the shield at Bakugo as the shield opens up, shooting tendrils, grabbing onto Bakugo and sucking him into the shield, morphing into essentially a casket, with the tendrils having the more softer sides switch from the inner parts to the outer parts and hardening the inner portion of it into basically what you probably call a reverse shell. Hard on the inside, soft on the outside, as a way to contain Bakugo. As Izuku split this part off of him for a moment, he hurried up to get to the bomb, which Ochako was having similar troubles as in canon. Once Izuku got to the room, he just saw Ida acting crazy, remarking that "You heroes will not win no matter what," as Bakugo was trying to break out with the nergal demon portion that Izuku split off, sweating as it is nervous that what might happen if Bakugo breaks out and Izuku's not there, since his tendrils do have their own form of sentience. With this, Izuku goes in towards Ida to attack. As Ida tries to keep a bomb away, Izuku decides to go for his feet, both his strength and also weakness if he can keep him from moving, using his tendrils to go flat on the ground, spreading outwards, making it easier to snag Ida's legs. Of course, this causes him to trip and drop the bomb, though Ochako was able to touch it, making it float as well as counting as the touch for them to win the test, with All Might yelling, "Hero Team wins." With that, Izuku went back downstairs to get Bakugo out of the reverse turtle shell he made, as Bakugo just is frustrated because he could still hear All Might announce that he lost, as he storms off angrily. As the final examination of the match happened, All Might asked what were the ups and downs of this battle, as Momo answered, Ida remained in character and kept his job very seriously. Bakugo came up with a sound reasoning and strategy for the opponents that they were facing. Not only that, he kept pushing, or at least trying to guide, Izuku to a space in the building that was further away from the center to minimize any structural damage with that large explosion. Though, even so, he still unleashed that kind of power indoors, which is dangerous even for the villains. Though, given his opponent, he might have thought he didn't have any other choice. Chaco held out pretty well until Izuku came, or sorry, yeah, as though she did laugh and gave away her position to the villain, which did put her at a drastic disadvantage. Though she was quick in acting to catch the bomb, since that was a real bomb, they would have all blown up if it would have hit the ground. But because it wasn't, if it was a real bomb, her quirk would have prevented the bomb from exploding upon contact from hitting the ground. So there's that. As for Izuku, he figured that this outcome might happen of him and Uraraka getting split up, and did what he could to fight off Bakugo. Getting around the situation from the smoke screen from his explosions, he created what could be best described as a reverse shield to contain Bakugo in so that he can run off and assist Ochako in dealing with Ida and securing the bomb, seeing that as the best way possible. As All Might was kind of bugged that he didn't get to say anything, he says, well, yes, you missed a couple of things, but yeah, we'll leave it at that. As the other matches went as in canon, but Mina's, which went a lot better for her team, as I said earlier. Afterwards, Bakugo and such was just mad and began to laugh. As he ran into Izuku, he states, I won't lose to you again. Understand? As Izuku smirked, stating, I'll be waiting. As he's seeing this as pretty fun. After that, him, Mina, and Ida with Ochako went to the train station together. As they went home, everything just kind of goes the same. So this is where we'll be ending this part of the What If. Do hope you enjoyed. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so that you're notified for all my updates, especially if you haven't set it to the all part yet. So do keep that in mind, and I'll see you guys later.